Good morning, everyone. This is Akira. This is Megumi. So thank you very much for watching us this event. We are talking about. Last Friday we talked about in ingredients, right? Ingredients of noodle ramen noodle making. Then yeah, because we have a special going on, special deal going on. Well, it's not a deal. It's like no brainer. Deal that we are giving away free access to our noodle making course online, right? The popular course that you can learn about basics and fundamentals of ramen noodle making, and then it's we're giving away free access by the end of this month, right? So then for you guys to be able to understand the ramen noodle making, um, you know, what we're doing is we're talking about today about the production part of ramen noodle make production, and then so that's a production methods, right? We're talking about. So by watching this event, you'll be able to craft your own noodles from scratch. So please watch till the end, and then um, Megumi is gonna make some like unique noodles, right? That you can start making from tomorrow. So please watch to the end, right? But before we start making noodles, we're going to go through some slides for you guys to understand, the basics of ramen noodle making. So let me go through some slides first, and then we'll get into actual noodle production part. And so we're talking about the fundamentals of ramen noodles production methods, right, today. And then, so first, you really have to like craft your own noodle recipe, right? I mean, noodle recipe, you done noodle recipe, and then you start making noodles, right? And then recipe is like kind of like a map, right, to your destination. So without a map, like you just get lost, in the middle. So we want to have noodle recipe before we start, and then based on the recipe, we can start choosing the production method, and then based on the hydration level of your pot noodles, right? Then we're gonna go through like each process, right, of our noodle production, and then lastly, we're gonna talk about how to cook noodles, and then how noodles get soggy to understand. Okay, how we can deliver the perfect noodle texture to our customers. So let's dive in, and then so we've been using this chart like to express like explain different types of noodles in terms of noodle texture, in terms of hydration percentage. That's the x-axis, right, horizontal line. To the left, that's harder, drier, and then to the right, that's softer, like higher hydration ratio. The more water we add to the flour, the softer the noodle texture, right? So then vertical line represents the protein content of the flour we use to make these noodles, right? And then so I circled Richmen Gold to kind of express that, like, well, our Richmen Gold 2 machine that we're going to use today to make some noodles is capable of making noodles that are between like 25% to up to like 45% in hydration. And then this is like a wide range of hydration that this machine can cover, right? I mean, compared to for example, like conventional pasta machines that we have over there. And the conventional pasta machines can cover only noodles that are like between like 32% to 36%. So it's very narrow range of hydration that you can cover, right? So Richmen Gold 2 machines is capable of making such noodles as low hydration noodles as like Hakata tonkotsu noodles, up to high hydration noodles like udon and tsukemen, and then some other types of Chinese noodles, right? So this chart is very useful to describe your own craft noodles. And then so doing all the recipes, and we want to think about recipe in terms of solid ingredients and liquid ingredients. We want to separate them because of the we can express, hydration ratio this way, like, simply. So we're doing the wheat flour, flavoring, coloring powder, and the gluten to harden the noodles, right? And then eggs, right? Eggs can be powder form, fresh raw eggs, and then raw eggs. If you're using raw eggs, right? Think of it as being 70% liquid and then 30% solid, right? And then liquid, water, constantly, potassium carbonate, sodium carbonate, and salt. So, then we can figure out, okay, what is your, what the hydration ratio is. Okay, and then when we're building our noodle recipes, we want to think about these 5 variables: wheat flour, right? Protein content. The higher the protein content, the harder the noodle texture, right? And then another variable is viscosity, starch. How elastic the noodle is going to be. Higher the dish value, the more elastic, chewier, right? And then hydration, the water, how much water are we adding? Okay, and then noodle size, thickness, width. Thicker bigger the size, the harder. And then whether your noodle is going to be served cold or hot, right? When it's served hot, right, the noodle is going to be soft, right? So, and then when it's served cold, then the noodle will be hard. So, we want to think about, what kind of noodle texture to be like when served to the customers, right? So, so we can build, craft your own noodle recipes in these, with these variables. Okay, so getting into production methods, right? Production methods. So, first of all, like, we have to build great dough, right? And then, it starts with weighing of the ingredients over time, and then this is a very, probably the most important process in the whole noodle production, because if you screw this up, and then the rest of the process doesn't matter, right? And then we always go by weight, right? Grams, kilograms. Then for those before watching from United States, pounds, right? Ounces. These are very important to get a precision in measurements. And the mixing process is very important too. And the first resting, and then pressing, or working the dough, and then second resting. And we're gonna get into the details of each process. So varying hydration, as you can see in these pictures, different hydration, condition of dough will be very different, right? Basically, the higher the hydration, the bigger the size of the dough. And then, so based on this hydration, the production method, or for example, mixing time will be different, right? Lower the hydration, lower the mixing time. And then the roller gap, we're going to set on the roller will be different, right? So first of all, mixing, right? So this is a very important process in building, very good dough texture. And then, so what we want happening in the mixing process is agitation, granulation, which is just 4 particles, right? 4 particles will come together, right, as it gets, agitated by the mixing and with water. And then just come together naturally. They get bigger and bigger, little by little, as we mix. So that's kind of like a natural phenomenon that happens in the mixing process. And then when we do the first resting process, right? Then basically we're just putting the dough right in the plastic bag, and then letting it sit at room temperature, right? Then room temperature being maybe 18 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius, but we get 4 benefits from the resting process. It promotes hydration, right? So we hydrate the solid ingredients right in the mixing, but the resting it roasting the dough further does the hydration, better hydration, right? And then degassing is something that like we want to remove all the air pockets, right, from that dough, because when we cook the noodles, right, and then the air pockets, and then the air pockets burst, right, and then that's what ruined all the noodle texture that we have worked so hard to develop, right? Then so working activated enzyme and the wheat, and then we can promote. I mean, we can develop like wheat, strong wheat flavor, right? And then it also relaxes the internal stress and the dough. So it's basically making dough texture like better, right? And then so we found out this from all the research and development, like we found this correlation between like temperature and then time in the resting process. So basically, higher temperature is shorter resting time, right? And then the higher the hydration of the dough, right? And then the more important this resting process is. So the resting process gets longer for higher hydration dough. So when talking about ramen noodles, we do resting process, but like it's not as long as very high hydration dough like udon noodles. The kind of dough that kind of goes over 45% or 50%. So for ramen noodles, like we can just say that okay, it's like 30 minutes to an hour. And then so next process is walking the dough, right? Basically kind of building your muscle in workouts, right? So how we do that in ramen and then ramen machine is to feed this dough like and then turn this like chunks of dough into sheet of dough, right? And then you're going to separate it and then like combine them through a roller. So that's how we process, how we walk the dough. And then so this combined process is very important in building strong dough, firm dough. And then the roller gap that we set depends on the hydration level that we talked about. So in this example, like that's 1 millimeter, right? The initial rough forming process, and then this is for low hydration noodles. But like higher hydration, like the bigger the roller gap gets. So again, like second resting process. Second resting process is also very important in building very good ramen noodle dough, right? And then so basically it relaxes the internal stress with gluten, and then again like degassing, and then activating enzyme and we to develop, promote the good wheat flavor, right? So yeah, like in this picture, like how we rest the dough. Put cover on plastic bag to keep them from drying. This is very important. And then after that, right? So the dough is complete, right? Building, developing the gluten structure, good noodle texture. So all we do is just thin, right? Thin the noodle, thin the dough, and then you want to thin it. We don't want to thin it like drastically, because that would damage the dough, the noodle texture that we developed so far, right? Then so we want to thin it gradually, right? We want to thin it like 30% reaction rate. So we want to thin it, gradually, like so. Well, what we do is that we'll just do a couple of rounds of like rolling, right? And then it's always balanced about like noodle, like dough. It's always the actual thing is always bigger than the roller gap you set. So we want to watch out for kind of how much it bounces back, right? Then we can cut it, right? Then we can cut it. And then we use this kind of cutter, right? So the width, right? These groups, right? Each group is fixed to a certain width, right? So width is fixed, but thickness, we can control by roller gap. So yeah, there are many different sizes and colors. Then for certain like types of noodles, right, Hakata style, like tonkotsu noodles, low hydration noodles, they tend to be thin. So but they have a range of like variation, right? Variations of like the small sizes. There's standard miso ramen, or like it's skim environment, like flat noodles, or and then different shapes, right? And then okay, and then sometimes like people want to make curly, right? Make them curly. So this is how we do it. So there's like parts that you can put on the back of the color, right? And then when the noodles come out, like noodles get stuck, right? Between the parts, it's very elastic parts. It's a silicone plate part, right? So the plates, blocks the noodles from coming out, and then but as the noodles like accumulate inside, right, and then it pushes it out, right. So then in the process it gets curly, they get curly, right. And then yeah, different shapes like cross section of the noodles, very different, round, square, rectangular, flat, and then edge, like even like reverse cut, right? Reverse cut is thickness is bigger than the width. That's what we call reverse cut. And then this type of noodle is like famous for, in like a Yokohama Ieke ramen. Okay, so and then so that's the sort of noodle making process and methods that we do, right. And then again, like it's always good to rely on the numbers. The recipes are like consist of numbers, right. And then they also to well to achieve our goal of having our customers experience that, like the ideal noodle texture, right. Also cooking is very important too. Cooking is very important. And then what we want to have is like a lot of water, right? A lot of water, and then to cook the noodles, at least like 10 times the amount of noodles we're cooking, right? The water. So like if you're cooking like 100 grams of fresh noodles, right? And then we want to have at least like 10 liters of water, and then the water must be boiling, right, before we put the noodles in it. And then make sure that you strain the noodles well, right? If you're serving like hot soup noodle, right, and then if the noodles still have some cooking water on them, and then that's going to dilute the soup, right? So that's really bad. So make sure that they'll strain out, and then let's serve it, right? So and then so getting the right texture, and then what we recommend, right, is that like so cross section noodle is very important. And then the reason being is that like the boiling water and the soup like perforate the noodles from the sides, right, sides where the noodle cut, like that cut surface, right. And then so when the noodles cooked, they become shaped like this, right, with the square, with the four sides dented inwards. These dents are the sort of like pockets that are kind of, when you eat the noodle, and they like these dents like carry more soup, right. So it's good for it's a very good noodle texture, right. So cross sectional ratio thickness with we recommend like 1 to 1.6 ratio, but like but this is just one example. And then of course like there are like flat noodles and then round noodles as well. So and then lastly, like we want to understand that how noodles gets cooked and soggy, right. Then fresh noodle and then cooked, right, and then that's kind of al dente texture, with that some core of the noodles is still uncooked, right. And then it gets soggy when this core is all like cooked up, like it's like it's penetrated through with water, right, or soup, right, and then so that's how they get soggy. So by changing cooking time and then estimating how long noodles stay in the soup, hot or cold, and then the noodle size, ingredients, etc. Right? We can adjust them and then control the noodle texture your customers may experience, right? So so these are all important when trying to achieve a goal of like having customers experience the ideal texture we want them to experience, right? So yeah, so that's the method that we want to talk about today, and then you can actually get more details when you sign up for the free noodle course that we have online, right? So if you haven't already, please go to our website, onlineschool.yamatonoodle.com, and then sign up for free, right? While it's still available for free, right, until the end of this month. So okay, let's make some noodles, and then so this is the this guy is actually Richmen, the silky mixer, 25 kilo silky mixer, right? And so you can put up to 25 kilograms of solid ingredients, right? And then 25, why 25, right? Because 25 is the the standard flour bag that goes on goes around in Japan. So without weighing it, you can just put the whole bag in there, right? And then on top of it, you're adding water, right, liquid. And then why it's called silky mixer is that this machine hydrates the dough like very very well compared to like conventional mixer. Then because of the shape of this mixing body, right? And then the speed, rotation speed is 75 rotations per minute. And then the holes, right? These small holes that help add the liquid to the flour. Just little by little. And this is small, like position in a certain way, right? And then add the water liquid to the flour a little by little. So promoting good optimal hydration of the dough, right? So and then you can see that like this mixer is like very low, right? So eventually like you're lifting the whole bag in there, and then that's a heavy lifting that you have to do every single day, and then God knows how many times a day, right? So so we designed it like very low, so to soften the make it easy for your workers to do this every day. So that may lead to like low turnover rate for the employees, and because it's easier for the workers. So right, and then so Richmen Gold II. So after that, right, we can have this is 2 containers, right? 2 containers, but like we can have like 4 separate 2 containers, right? So we are not lifting like the whole thing. We are lifting like maybe like 8 kilo of the dough at the time, so it's not that big of heavy lifting. And then this is Richmen Gold II. So this is the most advanced noodle machine that we have. And then more and more customers are using it for their micro noodle factory business. And then so we already did the mixing, and then we made this 2 separate doughs, right? This is curry powder, and then this is squid ink powder. So what we are doing is that like so this process rough forming, right? Rough forming, and then so we're just mixing them up, and then make 1 sheet of dough. So it's really kind of interesting. We've done it just a few times ourselves, so kind of not really know knowing like how it's gonna be, but so curry powder we added like we thought it's gonna be like a yellow color, but like turned out to be like kind of brownish color. So you never know until you actually make the noodles, right? And then you never know. And actually, after you cook them, right? After you cook them, then the color will be like completely different too. So and then in this case, right, it's not just the color, right? There's a flavor, you know. So curry and squid ink, kind of interesting combination. And then we don't know because we never had this before, so we don't know how they're gonna taste, right? But before I can imagine that like it's not gonna be that bad, right? I mean, curry and squid ink, right? So so the first process that we talked about, right, is just so we're setting we can set everything on this touch panel, right? So that's what's great about this. And then so the first process that we do, right, it's rock forming, and then basically we're turning this dough into sheet of dough, right? So okay, it's coming out. And then all right, looks interesting. So yeah, rock forming. So basically, turning this crumbles dough into sheet of dough, right? And then so it's automatic after, or maybe just like wind the first like edge of the dough, and then like it just goes in, it's going like automatic, right? So and then the machine is like actually well measuring, okay, how much dough is going in, right? And then depending on that, because the sensor it's seeing, okay, how much dough is going in being fed, and then depending on that, like it's controlling the speed of the conveyor, right? And then how much, okay, it's going too much, and then we're gonna slow it down. So it's very clever, in conventional machines that you would have to kind of have a bit of experience and skill to be able to do it, But we're just leaving everything to Richmen Gold II. So yeah, it's a very smart little machine. And then so that forming, right? So the dough is like still fragile, still weak, right? So what we want to do is that, like, as we talked about, combining process. So what we do is that we separate, this dough sheet into two, right? We separate it, and then yeah, we're gonna combine them right through that set of rollers. Yeah, this is how we work the dough in ramen noodle production. And then this is a very important process in building great ramen noodle texture. So you just need to then just push this button, right, and then just automatically adjust the roller gap. So just one button. You don't have to move anything, like or input the numbers, right? Just push this button, and then it just calculates, okay, the combining process, the appropriate roller gap. So it's getting stronger, and then so yeah, it's kind of yeah, we never imagined that the color, and then it's gonna be like this, but that's something like yeah, maybe kind of yeah, great for Halloween or something, when you want to scare customers on um but I think the taste would be great, but but just how it looks is just it's just not sure yet. But if you cook them and then the color may be different, so um, so combined process, right? And then um, so we did a lot of like tests, experiments, and researches, and to to develop like delicious noodles, very good dough, noodle texture, and then okay, so we we did experiments. Okay, how many times do we want to do? I mean, can we? I mean, how many times the produce the best noodle texture? Right, it's combined process. How many times do we combine process? Like, should we do to achieve that best right noodle texture? And then we found out that's twice, right? Um, for many types of noodles, right? Many types of noodles. And then, so from this point on, right, we want to start dusting. It's combining, right? Still combining, but like, we're just dusting the outer part of the dough, right? And then, again, like push this button, right, just once, and then just automatically adjust volume gap. So to appropriate volume gap. So dusting, right? Um, Dusting, and then so dusting is done like in the back of the wheel of the machine, and then so how we dust is that like in this machine is that like okay, so we dust the conveyor first, right? Conveyor belt first, and then the dough touches conveyor belt and then gets dusted, So it's a little bit different from conventional machines. Okay. Yeah, so okay, and then yeah, so we think that twice of two times combined process it's probably produced the best result in many types of noodles, and then after that, right, and then we just thin it, right? We just thin it, but like as I talked about, we apply this principle of like 30% reduction rule, right? And then so we want to thin gradually to retain the gluten structure. We have worked so hard to develop, right? And then so we want to each round of thinning want to reduce the lower gap by 30%, right? So that was 3 millimeter before, and then so now it's thinning at 2 millimeter, 30% thinner, right? And then from this point on, we are going faster than before because the through combined process, the dough is complete in terms of noodle texture, so you can go faster. Okay. So yeah, and then I will talk about right. Thickness, actual thickness is always bigger than the roll gap, and 2.56. Yeah. So we know that like okay the difference between the roll gap and the actual thickness, right? And then so that's 0.6 millimeter. So by knowing this, right, we can set the roll gap appropriately to get the final thickness right. Yeah, and then you want to cut it into noodles, right? Yeah, and then this is the kind of cutter we're gonna use, right? It's number 18, so it's 1.7 millimeter width. Yeah, and then the great thing about Richmen Gold II is that like it's it's very easy for workers, right? It's less stressful, less labor intensive, right? Than conventional noodle machines, and then also the conveyor, right? The noodle conveyor, the noodle conveyor that noodles carrying the noodles out. It's set at kind of high position, right? Relatively high position, right? So, it's very noodles coming out are very visible, right? So imagine like you put this machine, right? Somewhere like your customers can look, right, and then observe like how the noodles are made, right, in front of them. And then it's kind of amazing, right? The noodles they're about to eat are probably made like right in front of their eyes, so it's kind of amazing. Then it can work as a piece of entertainment while they wait for their bowls of noodles, right? So it's very easy, and then noodles coming out. So you can do it like in the just sit in a chair and then with the noodles, very easy, right? Yeah, it's very easy to again like change the size, right? Change the size, the width, with the cutter, like cutter, and then the thickness by roll gap, right? And then it's easy to change the to make them curly, right? As we talked about, and then it's easy to make them different serving sizes, just change the length of noodles, right? It's very easy, just a touch of button. So and then so we got I don't know portion, but like yeah. So we're sorry that you guys can't smell these noodles, but definitely smelling for strong of curry and squid, kind of interesting combination. Yeah, we can't wait to try them out, but we can't really this event like we can't really show them to you guys because the kitchen is being used by udon school that we're having this week, so can't really show you, but how they are cooked and how they look right after cooking them. And then there's another unique noodles that we're gonna want to show you guys is, well, made by our ramen school instructor, Mrs. Song. See, it's a bit, it's almost like it's almost like a part, right? It's like patchworks of like different dough, put together into one sheet of dough, right? I think I'm not sure, like 5 or 6 different sheets of dough, like combine into one. So we're gonna cut it with the same cutter. We'll cut it with the same cutter, and then yeah, kind of crazy looking dough, right? But yeah, but this is something you can do with these Richmen Gold II. Yeah, so noodle coming out, and then you see it's a very random kind of what we made it like very random, right? So the so like when you serve them to customers, like customers get like different proportion of like different piece of probably flavored noodles, right? So it's different, but yeah, but so that's what we did, and then so here's another kind of crazy looking noodles that just only like yesterday. So we did with some techniques. It's easy for you guys to craft your own noodles as well. Like you can, then this is the thing we did in the morning. This is chili powder and then the matcha powder. So doesn't sound like a good combination, but it's easy to do this, right? It's very easy to do it. Yeah, just it's imagination is the limit, right? You can use local ingredients and then knead them into your dough, and then surprise your customers like with these noodles, right? Crazy looking noodles. So and then yeah, so we don't have time to cook them and then show them like how they change, right? How the color change and stuff. In this workshop, but we'll definitely post the pictures later on our Instagram, Yamato Noodle. So please check our Instagram later. And then yeah, so that's pretty much what we had. And then please try making this flavored noodles from on your business, and then please check out our online noodle course, right? That's popular online noodle course. You can go to onlineschool.yamatonoodle.com, and then you can. It's by the end of this month, right? So it's only about 10 days left or something. So while it's available, please go and learn our methods, right? And it's free of charge. Like that's amazing deal. It's no brainer. And then we wanted to, because we wanted in 2024, we wanted to recognize you with this great tools and skills, right? To drive your noodle business, right? This year, so then we're gonna be putting out like this kind of content from this kind of content. So please, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, and then if you like this kind of content, like please hit the like button, and then you getting more of this kind of content, right? So So that's it, like what we had in class. So we hope to see you back in the next class. So thank you so much. Bye bye.